We have an amazing opportunity before us, don't we, at Fellowship Church? This weekend is commitment weekend, and we have an opportunity, friends, to step up and to weigh in and to trust God and to do something that few churches have ever done. And I'm talking about Town and Country. It's our time as a church to pray and to think and to commit to do this deal. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing? Great to see you. How's everything? Matt, what's going on, sir?
How you doing?
How are y'all doing, man?
Good to see you, Brad. Good to see
You
you.
guys come in. Come in.
Thanks.
All right. You guys sit down. Wendy, Matt? Well, hey, I wanted just to take some time, just a couple of minutes, and say, first of all, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for your involvement and your generosity here at Fellowship Church, but specifically, too, I was thinking back recently about Town and Country, and sometimes I'm sure you're like I am in that you don't always reflect back to the past and go, wow, we were a part of that, you know, and then because you're thinking so much about the present or maybe the future. But I want to thank you guys for that, because it's pretty
It's an honor.
pretty amazing. Do you guys ever think about that?
I didn't realize how long it had been, 10 to 12 years, and you think back to the age of our kids. So when we had an opportunity to help grow a children's camp,
It was just like,
it was
boom.
yeah.
Isn't that amazing too? I think whenever you do something like you're talking about, Wendy, whenever you serve in any capacity, whether it's, you know, bringing your resources, of course, which we're to do, you know, getting involved, meeting people, greeting people, whatever, it's almost like the person serving gets more out of it.
Always. Always.
What I think of that Town and Country did for Matt and I and our marriage was it was the first time, and we've told this several times,
Yes.
is that it was the first time that we didn't know how much to give, and the numbers were scary. And so we decided as a couple that we were both going to pray separately.
Yes.
Pray every day, several times a day. And then right before we made our donation, we were going to come together. And I am not lying to you that God gave us the same number to the T.
Wow.
And just that all moment for us and how we grew in our relationship with God because of that.
So often God does in his economy push us. And, you know, as we've been talking about, it's so interesting when you read in the Bible about whether it's any kind of stuff, materials, money, whatever, you always see those words, I like to say in the same zip code, faith and trust around it. There's something about the stuff in all of our lives that do that. Now, how about you guys? Because both of you guys were so faithful and so generous in your resources to Town and Country. But what was the process that you guys were going through during that?
I would just say that the first inclination is to just go to the balance book and figure it out analytically, and you can't. And I've never had the money to give analytically. When I look at it, it was never there. And especially for men, we want to hold on to it, we want to control it, and then sometimes, perhaps even when we give it, we want to control it.
Now, Debbie, you've been involved too in our church for a long time, and then with your kids. So you've seen just this whole legacy thing you guys have. You were a part of it being played out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for me, I was expecting our last, and she's 17. So when we came. And so to see her go through all from nursery to the mix, And then also to see our oldest become a pastor.
Yeah. Well, isn't that awesome? That's another good thing about, when you think about Town and Country, it's been amazing how many men and women have been called into the ministry, not only through our camp, but through our Fort Worth campus and Dallas campus. So from a pastoral perspective, wanted to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for what you did, just resource-wise, financially, to make Town and Country happen. But I thought I would invite some other people in to say thank you to you guys as well, because so often we don't realize what we're actually doing and who we're touching and who we're impacting in the future.
Hi. My name is Scott Traylor.
Hi, Scott.
I want to thank you guys. In the summer of 2012, I had just recently been released from prison, and I was staying in a halfway house on the south side of Dallas. And so somebody I'd been working with invited me to Fellowship Church. You know, I didn't have a lot going on for my life at that time. What I did know for a fact was the bad decisions that I did make before, bad choices I did make before, the bad life I was living before, I didn't want to live anymore. And so I knew that I couldn't trust my own choices. I knew this for a fact. And walking in the fellowship, I was able to see hope, for real hope. I've never experienced that before in my life. I walked in the doors and I just never walked out. The principles I learned here at this church taught me how to be the man I wanted to be. As I continued to grow to Fellowship Church, I met my wife. We got married out back here. Now by marriage, I have a daughter, and I have a life that I never thought I would have or deserve. And it's because of your generosity. I want to thank you for just taking a chance and just committing yourself and your resources to build a house that would honor Christ. I want to thank you all. You're welcome. Thank you.
My name's Nicole Ibarra. This is my son Giovanni. We attend the campus in Fort Worth. I, of course, was actually raised in church, in a Catholic church. My grandmother made me go, but I never understood it. And kind of grew up, I've been through a lot and found myself just kind of struggling all around in a really dark place, emotionally, spiritually, financially. I was unemployed 6 times in 3 years, just on the verge of losing my house and my car, and still trying to keep a happy face. My daughter ran into some friends, my oldest daughter, and they had invited us out to church, as a couple of other people have done over the years, and just never really made the time, found the excuses. I had to work Sundays, I was tired, I worked 2 jobs, and just made the decision one day to go. And when we walked up, it was just so inviting. It almost like just this weight was lifted right off of us. I understood Pastor Ed's messages. I could relate to them. They came into life situations relating the Bible and life together, and I think that's important. Worried about him, church has kind of just shown him a better direction. He's awesome. He does a great job. He serves, and just walking into church now with this sense of pride that, you know, he's here. He puts a lot of hours in.
I was about maybe 16 when we first started coming here. That day was the first day that I had been to church since I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. At the time, I was kind of just like half in and half out. I knew God knew my heart, but I wasn't really pursuing him in that way. And I finally gave my life to Christ August 11th, 2017. It's amazing of just what the amount of growth God has given me. Sorry. I'm a little nervous.
You're doing so good. I just want to get up and hug you.
I've been serving for about 1.5 years now.
And he was in school full time.
That's amazing.
And he works. He gets off work at 3 a.m. and then comes to church at 6.
See, you're an example for us.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's an example to me.
Yes, very much so. Thank you for sharing your story. That's amazing. So proud of you.
Hi. I'm Lacey. Hi, Lacey. Hi.
Jeremy.
It's nice to meet you guys. We attend the downtown campus and have now for about 11 years. And so when I think back to Fellowship Church and the impact that it's had in my life, my story starts around 2004. Jeremy and I knew each other from high school and weren't necessarily doing life or dating God's way. I knew God was just telling me it's time to get back on the right path. And so I went to the downtown campus, and walking through the doors, I was alone. I think Jeremy wasn't quite ready to come, but I went through those doors and my mind was just blown. It was church like I had never seen before. And so the next weekend I went back and I took my son, and I remember to this day vividly the message that I heard about being all in for Christ, and that it's not something that you can do to just kind of live here and there halfway, that you have to be all in.
My life was going fine the way that I had it planned. You know, I wasn't down on my luck or anything. I had a girlfriend, had a good job. I didn't need God. I wasn't down in the dumps like, oh my gosh, I need something amazing. And I knew whenever I came to church that I was going to hear something about what I was doing wrong and that I needed to fix it. And I was like, I don't want to have it. I don't want any part of it. But she taught me to come in, and it was the weekend before Easter, and then it was my first experience. And then I came that Easter experience. And so we went to the first service. We ended up staying for the second service. That's when I gave my life over. But with y'all's investment, you know, immediately I knew I wanted that to be not just a Sunday emotional experience. I wanted to be plugged in, and they got me involved real quick where I could serve every single weekend. Y'all's investment has given us an opportunity to be obedient, to serve, to get our kids involved.
Our oldest son accepted Christ at the downtown campus, and he was baptized there. When he was a student in the student ministry, we were driving 2 cars sometimes for him inviting his friends. And some of his friends who weren't raised in church and not going to church were saved and baptized at the Mix at our downtown campus. And it was just, it's the reach of that. There aren't words to express how grateful we are. And so to think back to, it's because people like you gave and made it possible. And how many people are reached and touched through that, the story just goes on and on.
And you guys don't know you're doing that whenever you're making those decisions, but we thank you.
So much.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Elisa Patillo, and I'm 17 years old, and I'm a senior at Flowermount High School. My family has been going to Fellowship Church since I was not even 1 year old. It's been almost 17 years, and I went through FC Kids. I accepted Jesus into my heart, and I got baptized over 10 years ago because of these kid faith classes that we have in the incredible FC Kids ministry. And then Alasa Ranch opened the next summer thanks to the Town and Country campaign, which y'all were a part of, so thank you so much. And I've been there every summer since. My life was pretty good, but on October 13th in 2015, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And she fought for a year. And then our Father took her home in heaven on October 9th in 2016. I fell into depression and anxiety, and I allowed it to weigh down my heart, my thoughts, and my feelings. I still came to church, but I wasn't involved. I wasn't serving. I was just going through the motions. And then I went to Los Ranch the next summer, and I heard the song Reckless Love. It says he chases us down, fights till we're found, and leaves the 99. And that summer, God chased me down, and he rescued me. And he brought me home, and he began to heal my heart. And I came back, I started serving with our mixed team and our worship team, and then I went to Los Ranch the next summer. And I was extremely overwhelmed by the presence of God. And with tears streaming down my face, I accepted God's call in my life to full-time ministry.
Oh, wow.
So thank you.
That's awesome.
So much for your generosity.
Thank you
It's
for sharing that.
It's changed so many lives, including mine, and all these incredible people. So thank you so much.
This has been extremely moving to me. I'm in the aspect of all these people that we touched, because we had no clue that we touched them when we were praying over this amount of money, and we had no clue how we were going to get it, and you don't know how you're going to get it. You have to have faith and trust in the Lord. I can't say enough that to give, and to give with a open heart, and when you do that, not only will you get it 10 times back, you'll get it a million times back. I had no clue all the people that we've touched, and I still am amazed by that.
It's so good to look back at the past and to see what God has done through His church. You never know what can happen when you step out in faith, when you realize all your stuff is God's and we're simply managers. And now, here we are, in the present, once again with this incredible opportunity to have intense faith so more stories like these can happen in the future, because the best has yet to come for God's house, Fellowship Church. Everyone, everywhere, engaging in eternity.